Let me start this review by saying there's a lot of great elements in this movie, so it's not just a shit show. However, there's a lot of great elements, and I'm laying down here. However, there are a lot of issues that I have with this movie, so I am torn. So for this review, you're going to be hearing the good, the bad, the not so rogue, and also, of course, the good. Rogue One, the good, the bad, and the not so rogue. Oh, this hollow, empty, bland, slow film. Slow movies usually have build-up. This has over 30 whole minutes in the very beginning of just plot exposition. This movie has the same flaws and issues that plagued director Gareth Edwards' Godzilla. Man, was it slow and bland, and has all this exposition that didn't really add to the story, and now it is here in Rogue One. What is it about this movie? Well, first, it's slow and executed in a way that doesn't complement its characters and story. The characters don't have a lot of development or on-screen chemistry or anything like that. I think they wanted it to be darker, but it comes across as low on energy, as if the characters just don't have a lot of character. Jyn Erso is awesome. She's badass. She's strong. The action scenes are over the top and make no sense. They didn't even try to hide that. The characters are trying not to die. They have them automatically survive the impossible. No realistic feel of action or anything like that. This movie drags for a long time in theaters. In theaters, my brother and father fell asleep. It takes too long for them to get to the point. They drag things out for so long and never get straight to the point. At least Jyn's character is pretty cool. They tried to develop her more through her father, but the scene drags on and on for so long and it doesn't get to the point. That's the thing about this movie. See, it's dark. I love dark stories, but it has no personality. It has few moments of personality, but the characters, most of them are not developed. And there isn't the same charm and wit you would see in other Star Wars movies. It's gone. It's hollow. It's empty. It's bland. It's slow. And it drags. It uses exposition as the ultimate tool to tell every single story instead of letting the story play out for itself. That's disappointing. It's all dark with no personality to boot. I was expecting like an espionage spy thriller or something, or a dark gritty war drama. If you've ever seen Paths of Glory, the characters aren't quipping or anything like that. Which they could, that'd be cool, but they didn't have to. It was dark, and they studied each character with very little. They did a lot with very little. They were developed. You felt their misery, their fear, their experiences. There's nothing like this in Rogue One. They rather tell you it's all about hope, or tell you, by the way, this is the name of the ship, Rogue One, or here goes the full backstory without you even seeing it. These characters, and by the way, they don't even tell you the backstory of my favorite characters in the movie, the man with the gun and Cherim. I think that's his name. They don't develop them at all, yet they are a part of the crew, and are then put in the background. You'd think they developed Jyn and Cassian. Hell yeah, go for this. This is a gritty war drama set in Star Wars, in space, right? Instead, they just argue and yell at each other, and that's it. There is no chemistry or anything like that, or at least character development. None whatsoever. You don't care about these characters, unfortunately. They are hollow, barely any characterization or development. The plot is thrown in your face over and over through exposition instead of it being shown and experienced. Boring. Explaining this, explaining that, yada 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 yada. Yavin, the plot, oh my goodness, just like when they met the rebels in Yavin. That entire scene, all they had to do was set up how Jyn will earn her freedom. It took almost 30 minutes of, by the way, this is the rebellion. I know who you are, and let's explain your backstory. Then explain the backstory of the entire plot. Damn, dude, this movie needs to focus on its characters, not the exposition. It took too, and I mean way too long, just to get to the point. And they never threw out the entire movie. Then you have Krennic and her dad. Krennic has good moments that are really good. My favorite being the scene in the rain. I thought that was good. But Krennic is a one-dimensional villain. I'm sorry. He's over the top. One-dimensional. He has one goal, one character, and it's just to be at the higher up with the Imperials. Gonna flesh this out? No, he's just a one-dimensional villain who decides to actually talk before shooting Jyn instead. Instead of just shooting her, causing her to get shot. That's the contrivance that plagues this movie. You'll have so many moments where the characters shoot and kill like it's a video game, like they are in danger. You know they aren't in any real danger. Now, there's good things. The scene at Jedha is excellent. The artistic design is amazing. Love the scene. I love the scene where Jyn Erso fights, then misses the grenade with K2. He catches it. That's one of the best scenes. I love Jyn's facial expressions. They are amazing. Again, I love this character, and my favorite character is K2SO. He is the best droid of all time, next to the gun droid of Rebels. And Rebels bothered me, but I love that droid. When a droid has more character than the actual characters, there's a problem. They are bland, empty, hollow characters with no chemistry, so you don't care about them like that. The movie has to make you care about the characters. Rogue One doesn't. That's a problem, because in the 6 films, I cared about everyone, and they developed a lot of characters. Imagine if the villain's motivations were beyond just, I want to move up a rank. You can even turn something like that into something compelling by developing what they go through to achieve their rank and their character, like Reva and Kenobi, another Disney canon story. They develop what she went through to achieve her goals and why. That's compelling. And this is missing in Rogue One. Imagine if Jyn and the whole crew has a relationship or chemistry. There is none whatsoever, and it's only just Cassian and Jyn, and they just fight and yell. There's no chemistry between them at all. Imagine if they had maybe a rocky friendship, or they weren't friends, but they at least talked to each other with something, some kind of substance, some kind of chemistry, something. There is nothing. When you see Paths of Glory, each character has a story. They are developed. It is a gritty war drama, but it puts story first. Then when things happen, you care because you got to know them. They try to fix this, I'll admit, through plot exposition. This can be used to help these things. However, they abuse this technique way, and I do mean way too much, instead of developing its characters. The sequel trilogy also did this. They did not want to develop its characters either. This is the problem. I don't care about these characters, and I should. Here's the thing. There's a lot of good elements in this movie. It isn't just a complete snooze or anything like that. I'm torn. There are elements that work well. There are even moments of brilliance, and they have to be acknowledged so Star Wars can stay alive. That's pretty fucked up, Tarkin. I mean, Krennic did achieve the Death Star program. That's a decent way of building character. I'm not gonna lie, there's more. This movie has quality. I forgot to mention. There are moments of brilliance here. It deserves to be recognized. Sometimes you need to simplify the storyline, a lot like the original trilogy. A New Hope was simplified. So is Rogue One, a lot like A New Hope. I think they were going for that. See, there's something I noticed about Rogue One and Andor. See, Rogue One is trying to be a dark, gritty war drama set in Star Wars, but it didn't have enough personality and chemistry to help with that. Andor is even darker and has some moments of personality, charm, and chemistry. It's subtle. That's actually really good. And although I prefer Jyn to be the main character of that, considering she's the main character of the movie, Andor is decent, especially for that. They have some personality in there, but it's way darker. They didn't just repeat the cantina scene. They actually did something unique here. I love this scene in Jedha. My favorite part was watching Saul's rebels fight the Imperials. It was gritty. It was real. It was awesome. It added to the realness of the world. It felt very real and immersive. They did very good with the cinematic shots. My favorite character, aside from K2SO, is Cherub. He's amazing. I am one with the Force is one with me. His scenes are great. Same with Jedha, although the action for the main characters could have been a little bit more believable. It's still a great scene. One of the best parts, probably one of the coolest scenes in the saga, is when the grenade is gonna explode. Jin points her weapon and makes this facial expression, and it's really good. They did that at the right time and place. They have flashbacks and scenes, while scenes developing Jyn Erso's backstory, which develops her character, that's actually really good. It's tied to the story as well. Her father is the one building the Death Star plans. The actor who plays Tarkin sounds exactly like him. It's amazing. Saw Gerrera thought someone was sent to kill him, so he sends some weird tentacle demon after him. It's like to probe his mind to see if he's telling the truth. Now I can actually see why he did that, because that scene always confused me. There's a scene in the beginning added by a producer. Good job, by the way, because this added to his character and the moral grayness of Rebels and Imperials, which they do mention and tackle elements of in this movie. So I can't lie, that's good. And Star Wars needs things like this. So I'm torn between the quality of Rogue One and the mishaps. There are good, and there's plenty of it. So why don't I like this movie? Well, let's get into the Rogue, the in-between. Well, it's got great shots, but takes too long to get to the point. Villains will stand there talking, giving arrows just enough time to shoot them. Excellent. Some of the best special effects I've ever seen. Phil Xiang, the designer, shout out to him. The designer of episodes 1 through 3. He designed the entire sequel trilogy and Rogue One. That's outstanding, because the artistic design is brilliant. This is what I'm laying down about Rogue One. This is my review, and this is what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for listening. I am so sorry, Star Wars fans. If you like this, I'm happy for you. I was very disappointed. These are my problems with Rogue One, and Tarragon is now out this piece. Thank you for watching. If you actually made it this far, Tarragon is now out this piece.